Sometimes I just like to let this intro song roll. It's a great song. Am I right?
Yeah, thanks Lotus for that.
Let's get right back.
Pretty spicy drop.
Let's get right back into it. Hey guys, welcome to Into the 99. I'm joined today with John, Evan, and Brian, and we're coming with another lore episode with recent developments. As I've said many times, they are trying to set up the next conflicts, and Vorinclex being on Phyrexia. Let's actually talk about Phyrexia, because people don't really know. It's me, I'm people. People don't really know what Phyrexia is. So like we'll start there. There's no way we'll cover it in one go. But let's kind of just start with Phyrexia. What is it? What are the Phyrexians? And what's going on with them? What notable characters? I'll let Evan jump right into it.
So if we're gonna start here with Phyrexia, then we should probably start at the beginning. So Phyrexia was an unnamed plane for a long time. Origin relatively unknown. Just some really angry dude who liked to cosplay as a dragon made it, and then he died. But a young gentleman by the name of Yawgmoth, a Thran physician, actually found the plane through his buddy known as Dyfed. Dyfed gave Yawgmoth the plane as like hey, you need more room to work on people because you're a physician, make a hospital here. And Yawgmoth's like, all right, I'm not going to do that. And Yawgmoth went through a plane that Dyfed made and essentially just started making monsters. Just performing horrific experiments on people, making them just really gross, really ugly. He performed this process known as phyresis, which the new Phyrexians would later call completion. And this basically transformed people into an object that had the ability to do essentially anything that Yawgmoth thought a person would need to do. It made him like a robot, like jack of all trades, sort of human, what's it called, Swiss Army knife type deal, but not really human anymore.
I've never heard of that name.
Which one?
Dyfed?
Yeah,
he didn't really do much other than basically ruin the entire multiverse by giving Yawgmoth a plane.
And then getting stabbed in the back of the head.
Well, if Yawgmoth is one of the original progenitors of it, let's talk a little Yawgmoth. I think that's what we were saying earlier.
I like Yawgmoth.
Yoggy doggy.
Yeah, the old Yawgfather. John, tell us a bit about Yawgmoth. Who is this guy?
So Yawgmoth wasn't like the other children. Yawgmoth was, how do I describe it? Disturbed. And throughout his life, he became one of the top physicians on the whole plane. And he was really good at what he did. He just healed people left and right. Until one day, the Thran Empire was having a bit of an issue. And the rebels went up to him and they're like, hey, you want to join us? And he's like, yeah, sure. And he met the eugenicists there. If you don't know what eugenicists is, Nazis.
Yeah, the bad people, the bad boys.
Yes.
I was going to raise my hand, but I quickly took that back down.
Hey, that's a cool name. No. Yeah, it's basically that's the human experimentation and stuff. So that's really what he was doing. Also, sorry if that's a sensitive subject, but
yeah, a little bit.
The old story's pretty heavy.
I'll be honest, I don't know anything about the lore.
Let me tell you, the new magic lore, it's all friends and gingerbread cookies on Eldraine, and it is not like that in the Brothers' War and Yawgmoth. He is a real bad daddy.
This is much more 40K-esque.
Yeah.
Sure. But anyway, so after Yawgmoth joined the eugenicists and the rebels, which, let me find the guy whose name it is, because I'm pretty sure it's important.
So I have to ask, did Yawgmoth, because we mentioned that he used to heal people and stuff like that, was he a decent person?
Yeah, he was good at his job.
Being good at your job and being a decent individual at the beginning.
He was always kind of, Yawgmoth had this view. The reason he was such a good physician is because he just really had, admiration for the human body. And his whole obsession with the completion and, the process of, enhancing the body, basically cyborging them almost, is because he thinks that the body can be the ultimate machine. So like he was good at healing it and stuff, and the more he learned about the body, the better he got at it. The more he's just like, this guy would be way better with a chainsaw arm.
This is like where I started to like go into Star Trek for me.
Yeah. So basically, he like the old planeswalkers. Like I said, right now it's all fun and games, but the old ones were like godly. They were like basically immortal creatures with like nuts powers. They could create like different planes and worlds. Like it was a pretty wild time. The Magic story is not balanced.
So Yawgmoth actually wasn't like too bad, but once he became a eugenist, that's when things started. After the rebellion failed, they exiled Yawgmoth down to the lower Dominaria, and he started just kind of releasing plagues onto people for fun.
Yeah.
He incited riots with the giant dwarven kingdom. He introduced mold that just ate elves. And then after that, the elf priest found a cure. And then he said, okay, you're going to have to give money for your elf, the 12 priests, and the cure. And when they did so, he just gave them some sweetened water and 12 dead healers.
Yeah, he's not a very good guy. He set the White Death on the Minotaurs of Talram just to see what would happen. Just to roll the dice, to see what was going on.
He gave cat people rabies too.
I love elf eating mold. That is absolutely phenomenal.
What happened with the cat people after they got rabies?
They killed each other.
They tore each other up, ripped each other to bits.
That like makes me so sad.
He's not a good guy.
Yeah, he poisoned the human tribes of Gelato Misha. He pythed and visected the bay of the Shivian Vishano.
When you first said he's poisoned the humans with gelato, I was like,
gelato? You're like, but ice cream's delicious.
Yeah, right?
It's the best kind of poison.
So it says the rationale behind his actions are unclear. He claimed to be interested in working on plagues and other diseases. Lust for power of the perverse. Sadistic interest in pain could also be part of his motivations. Basically, he was just a lunatic. Like his whole life, he was just like a kind of crazy person who just like kind of wanted to see what would happen. You know, just what's the button do?
So like, I guess like, because you guys seem to know a lot more about the lore than me, because like I just like to play cards. But so you guys mentioned Dominaria. To me, Dominaria is relatively new because of the latest set that got released there last year. So is Dominaria like one of the older planes?
Oh, it sure is. Like Windgrace, like the Windgrace, Freyalise, all of them.
Lord.
Those are all really, really old planeswalkers. Like they're
and dead.
Yeah, like Urborg is like the swamp on it and stuff. Like they're like dead, long gone. Like Dominaria has like a lot of really, really cool lore. They had the original Elder Dragons and stuff, like Rith the Awakener and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Those are all the Elder Dragons of
Dominaria.
Yeah, like Daragaz the Igniter, all of those. They're all like the Dominarian versions, which was why I was so happy with Arcavios getting new Elder Dragons, because all the Elder Dragons are so cool. And man, the Elder Dragons are fun decks.
They slap.
They do slap.
And then eventually, after he got his kicks of rampaging through Dominaria, the Thran were like, oh no, our people are dying. Well, actually, just one guy, Glacian.
This boy wildin'.
And then his wife was like, okay, I've got a lot of power. I'm going to bring Yawgmoth back, and he's going to cure it.
Yeah, it's he's got a lot of, like, he has a lot of lore. Like, there is a lot to go through. He does a lot of stuff. But we kind of want to talk about, like, what he was doing when he went to Phyrexia, not just all of his past. So, like, we know that he...
developed a Phyrexian altar.
Huh?
He developed the Phyrexian altar.
It's a good altar.
It's a really good altar. It's in my egg deck and my silver deck.
That is a good one.
The real question is, never mind. Probably get in trouble for that.
Yep, fair.
Alongside making just really gross stuff, he was also trying to think of ways to destroy Dominaria, because he really hated that plane, I guess, for some reason.
After he got exiled to it.
Yes, because he did get exiled by the Thran after a lot of bloodshed and fighting between him and the Thran Empire, because they were like, he's traitors, and they're like, no. And then,
so they exiled him to Dominaria.
They exiled him to I guess we'll call it Phyrexia, because he started calling it Phyrexia. Right?
Yeah, so I'm looking here. It says, sometimes later, Dyfed opened a permanent portal from Dominaria to Phyrexia, the plane which Yawgmoth wanted to make his paradise. Yawgmoth bound himself to the plane within its core, becoming a god while staying there. Interesting. He started to bring the fetuses, whatever it is, patients to Phyrexia, where they were implanted with empty power stones that drained away their sickness. The patients slowly began to evolve as well, growing longer, thinner, stronger, faster. Yawgmoth hid the two halves of the power stones dye-fed cracked to power the portal inside Glacian's wounds.
We can rebuild them.
Yeah, we can
Stronger.
rebuild them.
We have the technology.
Yeah, so the Glacian's disease... you know what? I did go ahead. I wanted to get right into it. You guys tell me about the Glacian and Rebek, because
it's necessary.
It is necessary.
It's slow, but
Yeah, they introduce a lot of people in the older ones too that don't really like come up in cards, but rather in the lore, which I think is kind of neat because it really makes you want to read more about the lore.
Well, it's cool that Rebek, like, especially with the Commander Legends, we got a lot of these really old creatures, right?
Yeah.
So
anyway,
the Thran Empire it's the ancient civilization of Dominaria. That's where all the Thran Power Stones are. It was Dominaria in general.
They actually lived in the sky above Dominaria.
That's pretty heavy metal.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
But anyway,
so yeah, they banished him to Lower Dominaria, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so they kicked him. Basically, essentially, it sounds like they kicked him out of their heaven paradise to the woods.
I hope they actually did like kick him over the edge, and he like cartoon fell down with like a Wile E. Coyote sign. It said like "Help."
Rest in peace, Yawgmoth.
Yeah, you get to go and stand on the actual ground and not up here with us.
Yeah, so it says after 5 years in exile, they called him back to the capital of Halcyon, where the people were unaware of his inhumane actions. The chief artificer, Glacian, had caught a strange disease that was only exacerbated by Thran healing magic. So Glacian's wife, Rebek, used her influence as a chief architect to bring back Yawgmoth, hoping his expertise in eugenics could find a cure. I mean, what could go wrong with that?
You know, eugenics.
Yeah, what could go wrong with this lunatic coming back into the city? He probably hasn't become feral outside the walls of our heaven paradise.
Just talking to himself.
Yeah. So it says that Yawgmoth discovered Glacian's disease, which was the fifthest thing, was caused by extensive exposure to Power Stone radiation. Most of the Untouchables, exiled Thran that lived in the caves of the Damned under the Power Stone producing mana rig, had also caught the disease. Upon hearing this, the man who stabbed Glacian, Gix, started rallying his people to rebel and take vengeance upon the Thran. There's a whole lot of war going on with his history.
Oh yeah,
this place just doesn't seem like a good place to be.
Dominaria's got such cool lore. Like it's probably one of my favorite planes, to be honest. Dominaria and Mirrodin, but let me tell you, Mirrodin's not a great place right now. You don't want a vacation there.
But anyway, so he was having trouble with Phythesis until Zod, he's a healer, I guess, to use metals in the serum with Phythesis. And then when Gix and all of his rebels came to Halcyon, Yawgmoth was just like, hey, I'll give you free serum.
Who's Gix?
Gix is the dude that rebelled in the first time. It was Gix every single time that rebelled.
It was always Gix.
I'm surprised they didn't take care of this guy.
Yeah, the quick definition is Gix was a Thran from Teres on Dominaria, converted into a Phyrexian demon by Yawgmoth himself. He was built of bone, machine parts, and soft meat. Aren't we all?
Oh my god!
Not hard meat.
If you guys pull up the picture of Gix, he looks like a terror nightmare.
Quite insane. That is quite the upgrade.
It looks like Elish Norn's nightmare dreams.
Oh, that is a man. Ooh, art by Chippy.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chippy.
Yeah, Gix is interesting.
Why hasn't Alien like copyright struck that? Jesus.
that is definitely a copyright strike waiting to happen. It's a cool art though. I wonder if that's on a card somewhere.
It's on like a fake card.
Oh, sure. The Vanguard cards kind of thing?
Yeah.
I wish those weren't banned.
So, yeah, I think so too. It says, for his actions of healing them, Yawgmoth was made a member of the Council of Halcyon and allowed to make laws to regulate public health. Not great.
Boy.
Yawgmoth started sending infected people down into the caves of the Damned and had healthy Untouchables return to the city, using this to eliminate enemies from the city. During this time, Rebek and Yawgmoth started falling in love, although neither of them acted deeply upon it. This is just a bad guy all around.
It's like Dwight and Angela in The Office.
Yeah, but with body part cutting up.
With eugenics.
Yeah.
So the our name,
Rebecca.
Rebecca. She apparently knew like what he did.
That he's a bad boy. Yeah.
Yeah, and then she's like,
no one
hey,
knew
my husband's sick.
Well, she knew he was bad, just not how bad.
Yeah. So, but she went and got him, and then she's like, hey, you can be on the council. Like, there's just bad decisions all over the place here.
Be in charge of our medicine.
After he subdued the rebellion, the council was like, "Damn, bro, you want to see?
Yeah, you want to hang out?"
Just mind blowing here. There's bad decisions all over the place.
Let me tell you, if they had just not been chill about Yawgmoth, it could have saved it. It's the same. If they just killed Yawgmoth and Nicobolus very young, a lot of the magic story doesn't happen.
Lot of stuff.
Yet here we are with Elish Norn and the rest of the Praetors.
Yeah,
Whoops.
right? Can we travel back in time?
Sounds like Urza. Yeah, sounds like you're trying to get into the Urza lore, Brian. So where do we get to? On the it was eventually discovered that Yawgmoth was diluting the serum that he was giving the Untouchables, claiming a lack of resource. This caused Gix to feel rebellious again, and he started to send Untouchables, both healthy and sick, up to Halcyon. Yawgmoth used this to get more funding and complete control over the Halcyon Guard.
Just throwing sick people at him.
Yeah, one day the Planeswalker Dyfed visited Glacian, wanting to meet the genius in real life and also learn about his own spark, though she said nothing of it. Yawgmoth walked in on the meeting and managed to talk Dyfed into aiding him. Dyfed agreed to find a plane where Yawgmoth could build his own paradise. That seems like an irresponsible choice. So yeah, go ahead here, John.
Is it that irresponsible? Have you seen Yawgmoth's artwork? Like,
he's a good guy, dude.
I could never say no to somebody that looked like that.
Dr. Yawgmoth.
The handsome goth daddy that is Yawgmoth?
You sad doctor?
True. Yeah, exactly. An apple a day was not keeping him away. So go ahead.
Anyway. So she found him his paradise, and she made a permanent portal to it. Good idea.
The portal is in the Caves of Koilos.
Also known as the Cave of the Damned.
Yes.
But anyway, so there was a big riot. He stopped it, and he put Gix in his place. He was just like, all right, you're done. And then after they rebuilt it, there was a big festival for Yawgmoth, and everyone was really happy. And then everyone that Yawgmoth had given diseases to a long time ago kind of showed up to the festival. And they were like, hey, yeah, you can't have him in here. And the council's like, well, we're going to vote you off. And then it was a 50-50 vote, and it came down to Yawgmoth and Rebecca. And Rebecca still loved Yawgmoth, so he got to stay. And then after he stayed, he imprisoned the rest of the council members and became the de facto dictator of the Thran Empire for a while.
Grand Poobah.
So that's where we got to when then Dyfed did open that portal from Dominaria to Phyrexia, the plane which Yawgmoth wanted to make like his home.
Yes.
That's when he became like the godlike patient there, like godlike person there. The patient slowly began to evolve as well. That's where they grew longer, thinner. He fared quite well while warring with the Alliance and nations against him. Using the Halcyon Guard, soldiers mutated into in Phyrexia, and Stone Chargers, he could overcome any army that stood against him. Even when Dyfed turned on him, he didn't give in. I want to quickly go over to the Dyfed page because I was just reading that while you were talking, and it's pretty cool about what goes on there. Don't know about Dyfed. Let me go back to that.
I don't know if cool describes it, but
so I just want to. Where did my link go? There it is. Just the part that they're talking about. It says, during the Thran Civil War, Dyfed planeswalked to Phyrexia with the intention of putting an end to Yawgmoth's plans. There she met with Yawgmoth, accusing him of having spread lies about the Phthis and using the illness as a way to eliminate enemies. She regretted that she had helped him at all. Dyfed ordered Yawgmoth to step down from his position, surrender the Thran Alliance, and free their delegates. Dyfed would then cure them of everything short of the Phthis. Yawgmoth at first seemed to yield to Dyfed and agree to free the delegates. However, when the ruler of Phyrexia showed Dyfed the terrible experiments he had used the delegates for, she was utterly shocked. Yawgmoth, taking advantage of Dyfed's horror, stabbed her in the skull with a Power Stone blade that scrambled her brain, preventing her from forming a coherent thought and consequently from planeswalking away. Thus, Yawgmoth had his minions vivisect her, hoping to find an organ that allowed for planeswalking and have it transplanted into himself. However, before any such organ could be discovered, Rebecca found the tortured planeswalker and killed the priests working on her, allowing Dyfed to finally die.
Stabbing it.
Yeah, Brian, it's heavy metal stuff, bud.
Holy crap. just
Right?
wow.
Yeah.
Wait till you get to what Urza does, dude.
Urza's also not a very good boy.
Urza is not a good boy.
I'm still amazed that they allowed him to do this for so long.
Who, Yawgmoth or?
Just everyone. Well, yeah,
I mean-
Yawgmoth. Like, just everyone's like, yeah, you're a cool guy.
Blissful ignorance, my friend Brian.
Yeah,
Right.
so Rebecca's who eventually kills Dyfed because she wants to like put an end to the suffering. Not
Which
all
makes
went
sense.
well for him though. He had to use the null sphere to filter away the deadly gases left behind by the stone chargers before they reached Halcyon. When the artificers that controlled it sacrificed their own lives to sabotage the sphere, Halcyon was destroyed, all its inhabitants fleeing to Phyrexia or being eaten away. Yawgmoth had planned to stay in Phyrexia for a while and emerge again when the death cloud had lifted, but Rebecca had finally seen what a monstrosity he was and used the power stones Yawgmoth had implanted in her husband to close the portal between Phyrexia and Dominaria, locking Yawgmoth and his followers out for all eternity. Or so she hoped. Yeah.
She put them in the Cave of the Damned.
Yeah. So she did seal Phyrexia off, but as we come to know, Phyrexia's kind of good at getting to different places.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it comes into a little bit of like about the sleeper agents and how Yawgmoth kept using the Thran to come to Phyrexia, fleeing the failure of the Stone Chargers, and then he transformed them into the first true Phyrexians. Using planar portals, the Phyrexians journeyed to many planes which they conquered, while they used its inhabitants as raw material for the newts, as Phyrexians who had not been augmented were known. But Yawgmoth was not happy, for somehow Rebecca had completely locked him out of Dominaria. This is why he has such a rage against the plane. They basically banished him, and they're like, you're not coming back.
Kicked him off the island.
Yeah.
Sorry, you are the weakest link.
Yeah, so then came the day the archaeologist brothers Urza and Mishra disturbed the power stone sealing the portal while exploring the Caves of the Damned, now known as the Caves of Kolis. Yawgmoth sent Gix, now a fully completed Phyrexian and member of his inner circle, through a portal as a scout. Gix planned to manipulate the brothers who had started a war. Having his minions, the Brotherhood of Gix, infiltrate both sides and eventually replacing Mishra with a Phyrexian, Gix hoped to magnify the war until it destroyed all civilization on the continent, allowing for a simple infiltration by the Phyrexian forces built up by Yawgmoth over centuries.
Yeah, it blows my mind that they haven't made it. They haven't made like Phyrexian completed Mishra a card yet.
They should. They really should.
That would be so cool.
I would love to see. We're getting Modern Horizons 2 soon, and
Yes.
there's almost no way that they don't make a cool Mishra card. There's such an outcry for it because Mishra's unplayable in Commander as it is.
Yeah. And they didn't do it in the last set, and they did Yawgmoth in the last set.
Well, they did Yawgmoth. Yeah, they did. They did Yawgmoth, and then they also did Urza, and like as overpowered as Urza is overpowered in the story. Like he's a pretty.
You can't, if he's like a big guy in the storyline, you can't make a weak card.
Yeah.
Same with Yawgmoth. Like now understanding everything, like kind of the -1/-1 counters on it, like let me mutate one of my cards or turn my card into
that's
something.
what he's doing. He's using them, throwing them away for like the
parts.
Yeah, exactly. That's like the proliferation. He's spreading plague and disease.
Mutate would have been really cool too.
That could have been pretty cool.
Yeah, like because he's turning people into things. Allow me to do this, please.
Like horror creatures control have mutate.
So it says,
cards.
during the war's end, Urza activated the Golgothian Silex, an artifact so powerful it completely devastated the world of Dominaria. Gix fled back to Phyrexia, telling Yawgmoth of what had happened. Gix's plans to infiltrate Dominaria secretly via sleeper agents was improved by the Dark God, but the first few attempts, since all of the agents looked exactly the same. The sudden appearance of many people looking exactly similar caused panic among the Dominarians, who proceeded to kill all of them that they came across.
That's funny.
Yeah, Gix planned to try it again, but by then the Shard of 12 Worlds was completed. The Shard had been a side effect of the Silex Blast. It locked 12 worlds from other planes of the universe, trapping many planeswalkers inside, but also keeping the Phyrexians out. Furious Yawgmoth had Gix thrown into the 7th sphere of Phyrexia, where he would be tortured for all of eternity. Yeah, he's not a good boy.
Nah.
So he could have just been locked out. It's pretty they really locked him out there, and then Urza. What more can I say? Take it away, Evan.
It's always Urza, man.
Yeah.
Urza had a midlife crisis and activated the Silex, killing everyone.
Yeah, that was during the war.
Yes.
Yep.
And then after the war, the shards were made, And then that basically blocked everyone off of Dominaria and sealed the plane for a while. No one could really get in or out, which really kind of prevented Yawgmoth from doing anything. Oh, here we go. So after the shard had been kind of floating around for a while, Phyrexia, a well-known planeswalker, was pretty annoyed by that and kind of wanted to be free of the shard. So she cast the World spell, which opens Dominaria to Yawgmoth once again, and really kind of stirred the pot once more.
So Phyrexia is to be blamed.
Oh,
Yep.
Sure is. Yep. So first and foremost, like they were just locked right out. Urza died in the blast. He became reborn as a planeswalker, again became a god, and decided, I don't like Phyrexia, and so they went to war. So it says, moments before he activated the Silex, Urza discovered his brother had been turned into a machine and had gone completely insane, blaming those responsible for turning his brother into a machine for all the wrongs of the Brothers' War. To add more fire to his hate, Urza's eyes had been replaced with the Might Stone and Meek Stone, the two halves of the Power Stone that contained Glacian's spirit. So, like, basically, Urza just became, like, Elspeth 5.0 in his mega death quest against Phyrexia. He's just like, oh, like, this is why my brother was fighting with me. Now I'm going to kill everyone.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So it talks
Urza's
about
rage,
it talks a little bit about Xantia. Having met the new Xantia, who had been intended as a sleeper agent but had turned into an expendable servant now the agents hadn't been developed, Urza discovered Phyrexia was responsible and created a monstrous machine dragon to attack the plane. He managed to blast a gigantic hole in the plane all the way down to the fourth sphere, but then Yawgmoth himself Yawgmoth himself invaded his mind and made him go even more insane. Urza fled, and for years he traveled from plane to plane, the Phyrexians always chasing him, for Yawgmoth couldn't let someone who planned to destroy Phyrexia go unpunished. Urza was eventually healed by Sarah, but after he left, the Phyrexians invaded her realm, corrupted it. So they just killed everyone there. Urza got everyone in the Sarah Sanctum realm killed. Yep.
There is a kind of a fun fact about Sarah.
Go on.
She spent a lot of time fighting the Phyrexians as well. However, after her plane had died, she became so depressed that an arrow coated in Phyrexian oil and poison, which normally wouldn't affect planeswalkers, she just let it kill her.
Just real bummed out.
Yeah.
Wasn't the dragon thing he made, wasn't that Ramos, the dragon engine?
I think it was Ramos the Dragon Engine, yeah.
Yeah, boy.
Ramos is pretty cool. For me, the more I learn about the lore, the more I want to build cards.
Yeah.
Like decks. And that is like Ramos is a pretty cool big thing too. Really went to war on Phyrexia. But yeah, so back to Phyrexia with the World spell. This is what opened Dominaria up and actually let the Phyrexians back out.
Yep. So it initially was intended just kind of like, hey, open us back up so we can interact with the other planes and such. And I guess people had just kind of forgotten about Yawgmoth. And so he took that as an advantage and was like, yeah, all right, Gix, come back up from the fourth sphere. No, you're not getting tortured anymore.
Yeah, listen, I know that I was pretty uncool with this torture, but I have a job for you.
How old is Yawgmoth?
Very.
Like centuries? Like
Yawgmoth is
5,000 years had passed before Urza and Mishra came around for the Brothers' War.
Wow.
Yeah, so born before minus 5,000 AR, deceased after 4205. So almost 10,000 years old.
Old man Yawgdog.
And looking great.
Yeah.
Looking just real fly.
It's that eugenics, man.
Ooh.
Hey, I guess if you're replacing like body parts and stuff like that, then you're fine.
Yeah, so
really
like Yawgmoth is like what Phyrexia became. The Praetors are like a different thing in general now, but Yawgmoth, he's who started. Like he's a real bad guy in the story. The whole like the sets like Ice Age and stuff.
Yeah.
That is when Dominaria was like all frozen over with these shards, so people couldn't leave, couldn't do that, and Phyrexia was like, nah, get it out of here.
Big ice
I want to see
cube.
the grass.
Yeah, pretty much. So, in the wake of his latest setbacks, Yawgmoth set about concocting a different plan. Instead of infiltrating Dominaria, he'd prepare a full-blown invasion. He's not infiltrating, he's going to war. He started to amass an army and created the artificial Plane of Wrath, which he planned to fill with troops and then merge with Dominaria, placing all his forces there in a single moment.
Wow. And that would be the invasion set, I would assume.
Yep. Even as he set his new plan into motion, Yawgmoth continued to send troops after Urza, recognizing him as one of the greatest threats to all his plans. One of the most successful ones was Crick, a sleeper agent who would track down Urza's academy on Teleria, where mages were trained and artifacts were built to fight Phyrexia. It's Crick or Kirik? What is it? Which one is it?
I think it's Kirik.
I think it's Kirik too. To be honest, now that I'm looking at it, I'm pretty sure I'm not saying it right. Kirik is what I'm calling from now on. Succeeded in destroying the place, but Urza sent the Silver Golem Karn back in time to prevent this. He succeeded, but the time machine overheated, destroyed the academy nonetheless. When Urza returned 10 years later, he found that the time streams of the island had been twisted. In some places, 10,000 years happened in a single second. In others, it was the opposite. Trapped inside a fast time bubble, Kirik had ages to prepare for an attack on Urza, but the Planeswalker eventually managed to defeat him with the help of the nature spirit Multani. And Multani is great. Love Multani.
Yes, excellent card.
Yeah, excellent. Planeswalker. Not Planeswalker, but character. I don't think he's a Planeswalker.
He's a creature.
Yeah, just a creature. Just a big old tree boy. When the Evankar's Wrath started to overlay small parts of the plane of Dominaria in preparation for the second coming invasion, the artificial plane filled with beings from Dominaria and other planes on which the Phyrexians could experiment. Among them, there was core human and strange with strange elongated skulls. When the Inner Circle member Croag, who oversaw the process of the plane, discovered humans with Phyrexian traits in them in Benalia, the truth about the core was revealed. Urza had started the Bloodline Project, a grand... He is also not good. He is also not a good guy.
That's just eugenics in fancy text.
Yeah. A grand plan to manipulate the breeding patterns of several group of Dominarians to create the perfect warriors to fight Phyrexia. They're not good people.
No.
To be honest, they're all bad people. The project resulted in ordinary humans with an affinity for tracking down and fighting Phyrexians. And in the Metathran, genetically engineered warriors with no will of their own, eerily similar to Phyrexians, they were designed to fight after. After discovering this, Yawgmoth increased the raids on Dominaria, tracking down the bloodline results and killing them. Croag discovered the nation of Keld, where the renegade bloodline researcher Galtha had creatures like Krieg, who were able to severely wound an Inner Circle member. Despite Yawgmoth's efforts, some bloodline children slipped through the attacks, such as Gerard, the true heir to Urza's legacy, a collection of artifacts made with the single purpose of destroying Yawgmoth. The attacks became so frequent at times that they started to play a role in local myths. Stories about the Lord of Wastes, the Machine Lord who waged an eternal war against Dominaria, started to spread from Benalia to Jamura. So he just is obsessed. He is like the ultimate, just like revenge-driven guy.
Yeah, real angry.
Sound like just this is mind-blowing. Like, this is ridiculous.
So Gerard's essentially Urza's son, and a culmination of the legacy weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Ian, it's hard to...
I'm stating that for irony to come in the future.
Yeah, okay. Gerard's also such an interesting character, and they need to make a better Gerard card. What are they doing?
Gerard Capuchin, man. What a guy.
So apparently he has like these artifacts and everything, and it's all powerful, and they didn't make a good card with it.
Oh no, Legacy Weapon is a card.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it is Legacy Weapon as a card for any of the players is pay Wooburg, exile target permanent.
Yeah.
Yeah, super strong.
Yeah. And then if Legacy Weapon will be put into the graveyard from anywhere, reveal Legacy Weapon and shuffle into his owner's library instead. And it's got a lot of like really, really cool throwbacks art-wise. Like if you know what makes up the Legacy Weapon, like Urza's head's there, Karn's there, like it's a pretty cool artwork card. Yeah.
It's just good lore stuff, you know, man?
Yeah.
That's what the game's all about. The lore.
The game is all about the lore, and apparently just real bad genocidal maniacs.
Absolute brutality.
Trying to really get back into Dominaria. And that's why with the Arcavio stuff, like their Blood War, like I think they are going to really expand on it, because let me tell you, the war between Phyrexia and Dominaria made for some pretty good stories. It made for some pretty good sets of Magic.
Sure did.
Urza Saga, who can say they don't love it, right?
Oh, favorite set.
Ooh.
Give me those forests.
It gave us Karn and Teferi from War of the Spark, so can't be all bad.
Yeah. So it says that during the Phyrexian invasion of Dominaria, Yawgmoth mostly stayed behind in Phyrexia, guiding his troops from afar. It wasn't until the last moments of the war that he returned to Dominaria after 9,000 years. He did so in the form of a hemisphere-spanning death cloud that killed Dominaria's defenders and resurrected them to fight for Phyrexia. It says there was still hope for the plane. Urza and Gerard hovered high overhead on the Weatherlight, the main part of the legacy. They punctured the null moon itself and used the white mana it had been gathering ever since those Thran artificers launched it into the sky and caused Yawgmoth's first defeat. Yawgmoth tried to flee back to Phyrexia, but the Stone Druids had activated the volcano under the stronghold, covering the only remaining portal to Phyrexia in deep magma. Yawgmoth was hurt very badly by this white mana, but survived and took the form of giant tentacles that attacked the Weatherlight. Undeterred, Gerard took out Urza's gemstone eyes, the two halves of the Power Stone that locked out Yawgmoth and contained the Spirit of Glacian, and placed them in the cavities of Karn's chest, completing the legacy. The exact working of the legacy device is unknown, but it created a sentient light that dissolved Yawgmoth's death cloud form, killing him at last.
So he was a human, like air quotes human, and then he became tentacles.
Human tentacle god. So it says, like I said, it said that the legacy killed him. And then it said, or so it seems, 100 years later, the godlike being Corona was looking for beings like her. She first summoned a god. Yeah, she first summoned a god for each color of magic, and the black one appeared to be Yawgmoth. Later, she traveled across the plains and ended up in Phyrexia, devastated by the 9 Titans, but still holding together. There, she met Yawgmoth, who revealed he was alive and rebuilding. However, with explicit confirmation that Yawgmoth died, and given the nature of Corona, this was likely simply a manifestation of Corona's psyche. So they don't know if it's real or if Corona was just nutso.
I haven't even heard of Corona.
Corona's pretty cool. God, yeah.
You heard of Corona, Brian?
No.
Corona was the manifestation of all Dominarian mana, brought into being by the aggression of Akroma Phage Zagorka being slain by Kamal's Soul Reaper. During her brief existence, she further devastated the already war-torn Otaria and disrupted the very fabric of magic on Dominaria. Her abilities stem from that of faith, that anything a being could believe of her, she could accomplish.
So the 9 Titans were mechs made by Urza. Fun fact.
Were they all mechs made by Urza?
I'm pretty sure.
9 Titans. I know. 9 Titans were a group of planeswalkers brought together by Urza to attack Phyrexia because he was also pretty cool.
They were in mechs, the 9 Titans.
Yeah,
Windgrace was there.
Yeah, they were in big mechs for sure, and Windgrace really hates machines. So it's Urza, Bolivar, Daria, Freyalise, Commodore Guff, Christina of the Woods, Taser of Rabiath, Tevesh Sat, and Lord Windgrace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some weird names that I've never heard of.
Well, Tevesh Sat got some... Go ahead, sorry?
I was going to say, who in their right mind would trust Tevesh Sat?
Yeah, so Tevesh Sat is one of the new planeswalkers, obviously.
That Commodore guy, though? Never heard of him.
Commodore Guff?
Yeah.
A very old planeswalker that lived in a hidden library on Dominaria. Library contained every book ever written, including the books that held the destiny of the multiverse.
The Library of Alexandria?
Yeah, and then literally every one of these things, like I said, when I say Urza's not a good guy, like literally the history of this guy is he joined Urza on his crusade against Phyrexia as one of the 9 Titans, even though he knew Phyrexia would win. Bolivar discovered Guff had this knowledge and convinced him to change it. Guff apparently erased the important parts since Phyrexia lost the invasion, but was killed by Yawgmoth in his Death Cloud form in a matter of seconds.
Death Cloud.
Death Cloud. Death Cloud is a card in Magic too.
It is.
It is a pretty toxic card. You shouldn't play it against your friends. So yeah.
One interesting thing about Urza's journey, going back when he was running away from the plains and planeswalking everywhere.
Yeah, when he was just losing his mind.
Yeah, he did come across one plane, and it's like older than Phyrexia.
Ooh, yes, this is a very, very interesting thing.
And when he got there, there's just a bunch of dudes chilling in a cave. And these were some of the most powerful beings in the multiverse. Like, they were more powerful than Urza in his godlike planeswalker. And he's like, I need help with Phyrexia, dude. You know, Dominaria is going to get destroyed. And they're like, you know what, Urza, there's more to it than Phyrexians. There's more dangerous things.
There's bigger threats we're working on dealing with.
This is just sitting in a cave.
Yeah, what was the name of that place? Do you remember, John?
Let me find it. I used to know it. Let me check. I think I wrote it down somewhere.
I assume that some of the bigger threats would maybe be Eldrazi's.
I don't know.
Here's the thing.
I'm waiting.
Eldrazi they weren't like last minute, but they weren't like super planned for Zendikar. So all the way back then, they didn't know Eldrazi would exist. So I'm guessing it was just a vague mention to set up for future
like crazy things. That's the other thing too, is there literally nothing says there's only 3 Titans for the Eldrazi.
Okay, so the plane is called Equilor.
Equilor, yeah.
And no cards from it. There's no other mention of it other than one book, and it's like a few pages.
Yeah. So, but yeah, in it, it's just these powerful planeswalkers. They control who can actually come to the plane, so they let him show up to visit.
Oh,
They
and
let Urza in?
Yes, and he's never been able to get back to it or find it again.
Probably because they realize how insane he is.
Yeah, they're like,
How
hey, this
rude he
guy's
is.
not pretty cool.
Yeah, we shouldn't have brought him here in the first place.
But anyway, so after they destroyed Yawgmoth and everything else, everything was happy. Urza got beheaded by Gerard. Karn went off on his own and found Mirrodin. And
Yeah, so that's sort of where we're at with the Mirrodin part. Where did I had some notes here.
So we're hoping that here when we see new Phyrexia that this might be the hey, Yawgmoth was alive again, or
So
no, he's dead.
no, he might be alive. We don't know. We think he's dead.
No,
Yeah.
he's
because you guys just said
thinking
that chick didn't, or that planeswalker. Sorry, I don't know the.
It said that it could have just been her psyche, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so it's a 50-50.
design. The lore team specifically stated Yawgmoth was dead.
He's coming back. Anyways, so it says Phyrexia was not so different from Mirrodin until Yawgmoth arrived thousands of years ago, brought there by the planeswalker Dyfed. We went over this kind of stuff. Yada, yada, yada. Mirrodin itself is, I believe Karn made Mirrodin. Is that right?
It was originally known as Argentum when Karn made it, and he made the plane from an existing but desolate space using the space's raw materials in the construction of his own artificial world, which sounds eerily familiar.
Yeah. Where could this go wrong?
Yeah, right? He made a certain creation known as the Memnarch, which was a golem made out of the Mirari, which is a very, very good enchantment. It's Wake, at least.
Brian
think
loves
the Mirari
Mirari's
itself is
Wake.
an artifact.
You're speaking Brian's language now. He's picking it up.
Yeah, so what's going on here? I love this card.
Yeah, right? The Mirari gave birth to the Memnarch, and Memnarch was kind of like the head honcho for the plane when Karn wasn't there.
No one likes narcs.
Yeah, so Karn made the plane, and then he kind of went back out to continue exploring the multiverse, hopefully kind of running into Urza, and left Memnarch in charge. Memnarch's a little crazy, though.
Yeah, Memnarch went bananas.
Yeah.
Locked Karn out of Mirrodin.
Yeah.
Ultimate jealous girlfriend.
He drank some of the Phyrexian oil that Karn just kind of left chilling in the palace fridge.
Well, it was leaking out of his heart, so.
Yeah, Karn in his crusade against the Phyrexians got infected a bit with it, and that's a big part of Mirrodin is like Karn becoming corrupted with it.
Yeah.
When you learn about the religions of Mirrodin, Brian, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. They're so cool.
I guess I got to be here for that episode.
No, we're gonna get to it probably right now quickly.
Okay.
We'll talk more Mirrodin at when we touch in. Like I said, there's no way we can cover all of Phyrexia and what's going on because there's the Praetors, there's Mirrodin, and what actually happened. But yeah, keep going about Memnarch, like what he is, what happened.
Yeah. So after Memnarch drank some of that yummy Phyrexian oil, he got a little infected, a little Phyrexia pulsing through him, and he really, really wanted to become a planeswalker because he really looked up to Karn and just the fact that Karn was able to make the whole, basically the earth he walked on. And so Memnarch attempted to kind of replicate that by transforming Argentum into what we know as Mirrodin, which is just its own metal terrarium with like metal monsters, with metal tiers of food, and like, metal vegetarians, metal carnivores, and they're all just eating each other. And it's supposed to be like nature but metallic, which I guess you would call a form of completion.
Yeah.
But,
so what really happened? I kind of do want to talk a little bit about Memnarch because he is so cool and so instrumental in this part. Basically, Jessica just became like a planeswalker, and Karn wanted to make a place that she could train. So Karn made all these like golems and things she could blow apart, like do all that stuff, and made Memnarch. And then gave Memnarch 2 gifts. The first gift was the Mirari Orb, and that's like the Mirari's Wake. Mirari itself is the artifact. It's a very powerful artifact in it. And that had all of Karn's experiences and intelligence.
Oh, that's just not a good time.
Yeah, so it allowed Memnarch to be something which was more than it could have been. And the second was stewardship over the plane. He's like, all right, now you're in charge of this, and great.
You have my knowledge, and here are the keys.
Yeah, so I'll be back. Then it said his mind was greatly expanded with the power of the new gifts, and he spent decades wandering his maker's plane, learning the incredible mathematics of the world he was the regent of. He came to understand the way the world had been constructed and realized how empty it truly was. It was during this time that the first anomaly came to his attention. The blink moths populated the skies, but Memnarch did not understand from where they came. It was their presence that caused him to take action, so to bring true life to the world. However, before his grand vision could be realized, a small, insignificant stain caught his eye. The spot of oil would alter the world of Argentum forever.
Ooh.
So he saw the oil that had leaked out, and it's the real bad boy drink. So yes, that's when they're talking, and he renamed the plane Mirrodin and just decided, this is my house.
Yeah?
Completion.
Yeah.
Fun fact about Phyrexian oil, which kind of ties into why Kaldheim wasn't Phyrexianized really quickly. It spreads much faster through metal. And that's one of the reasons Mirrodin fell so quickly, was because Phyrexian oil spreads through metal much faster than
it's a plane of metal, yeah.
Yeah.
And once you become infected with it, unless you're a planeswalker or have a planeswalker handy, there's nothing you can really do.
And unfortunately, Memnarch really, they didn't have that initially.
He was metal, and he didn't have a planeswalker.
Yeah, so basically, Memnarch, so it said, with the world remade to his specifications, he began to abduct inhabitants of other planes en masse using an insidious device known as a soul trap. So he just kept abducting them because he's obsessed with becoming a planeswalker so he can go find Karn and see what's up.
Go and chase him down.
Yeah.
Are you proud of me, Dad?
Yeah, so it says, after a while, a silent threat rose in the core, its only adversary to the lone Memnarch. The spore, called mycosynth, began converting metal to flesh and flesh to metal. Memnarch destroyed the mycosynth as quickly as it rose, but it was a tiring effort, and Memnarch began to grow weary, his mind and body suffering from his deep isolation. As his plans came to fruition, Memnarch became more and more obsessed with the missing creator and the worlds beyond his own. Experimenting with the blink moths that had come from beyond this world, he discovered their fluids could be refined into a serum which expanded his consciousness beyond anything he could have imagined. Unfortunately, this mind-altering substance only served to exacerbate his madness, and a new obsession took root. He dreamed of joining his creator in the multiverse. Memnarch dreamed of becoming a planeswalker.
So Memnarch took acid and had a bad trip.
A lot, there's this trend I'm seeing here that everyone just goes insane.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of crazy characters in it.
Yeah.
So, he just, like I said, he basically became obsessed with he wanted to make something that had a planeswalker spark, and then he wanted to get it himself. So Memnarch began planning his most ambitious project yet, the conversion of the entire world into a planet-sized machine able to transfer planeswalker sparks from one being to another. His attempts to find a planeswalker spark finally bore fruit when he met Glissa Sunspeaker, becoming obsessed with her and stealing her spark for himself. Time and again she escaped Memnarch's machinations, eluding his agents and armies as she plotted the revenge against the power-mad golem for the death of her family. Finally, after scouring the surface of the world and collecting the legendary Kaldra artifacts...
Great cards.
They are great. She confronted the despot with her champion. Unfortunately for the young elf, Memnarch seized control of the Kaldra avatar and turned it against her. The only thing that saved her was the sacrifice of her close friend, Bosch, Iron Golem, one of the last Golems that ever existed. While Bosch fought the champion, the power source for Memnarch's spark transfer device, the Mana Core, finally destabilized, giving birth to the Green Sun. That's the Beacon of Creation card that we were talking about.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. Basically, what happens is that, like I said, Memnarch just went crazy, and he just was obsessed with this. So Karn just wasn't there. Karn is a very bad absent father to this plane.
Yeah, looks that way.
Went down the street and never came back.
Yeah, it says 5 years of war tore apart the surface of Mirrodin while Glissa slept. It seemed as if Memnarch would destroy the last of the resistance, but when Glissa awoke, she managed to escape, rallied the remnants of Mirrodin's population. In the last desperate attack, they assaulted Memnarch's stronghold just as the golem had planned. With Glissa in his clutches, his dreams were finally becoming true. However, Glissa had only one way to defeat him. In the instant the Sparta activated, she threw herself at him, and together they both fell into the raw mana core of Mirrodin. The device destroyed the soul trap of every living thing in Mirrodin, and with only one target left, it was transferred to Slowbad. Upon Memnarch's death, Karn could finally come back.
Hey guys, I'm back.
Hey, what's going on here?
Oh no, you killed my
I left
son.
the space heater on.
Yeah, so it says Karn restored the souls of everyone who died using Slobad's newly acquired spark to cast the spell. What a bad guy, by the way. He's like, well, I'm gonna use this spark here. What are we talking about?
Give me your spark.
Yeah, give me this,
kid.
What are you doing with that?
Instead of putting it back into Glissa.
Yeah. The kidnapped inhabitants. Oh, Glissa's gone. Glissa dead.
Glissa died with Narc.
Glissa real dead.
But you just said that she brought everything. He brought everyone back.
Restored the souls of everyone that died. Yes.
So everyone died, and the soul trap was in like the core with Glissa and Memnarch when they all died, and it getting destroyed transferred all the souls into the only single living target left, which was Slobad.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it says the kidnapped inhabitants were returned to their long-forgotten homes, and Karn destroyed Memnarch's body, recovering the Mirari, which was given to Glissa, Slobad, and Geth to guard. So it says, yeah. So basically, like, that's kind of what was going on there, but, like, that oil that drove him mad is what the problem was.
The Phyrexian oil.
Yeah. So let's wrap up a little bit there, actually. We'll talk a little bit, explain the Phyrexian oil quick, and then we'll stop for the day, and then we'll go into what goes on in Mirrodin next.
Yeah, so it's also known as the glistening oil or the ichor, but it's kind of just like a gooey oil, sticky, gross, viscous thing that kind of just corrupts everything it touches. Really likes to travel through metal, like what John said, but it can kind of cling to and Phyrexians like to use it as a form of colonization, so they'll just kind of pour a bunch of oil in an area and then kind of let it start to spread over and take over and then develop upon that. And it also is what Yawgmoth kind of used for the forms of Phyrexia that he started to initialize on Phyrexia.
Man, this black oil or this Phyrexian oil, again, just X-Files.
So yeah, the glistening oil, a really fun fact is the fifth sphere of Phyrexia, called the Boiling Sea, is just an ocean of it used by Vat priests on the Forest Spirit to breed newts.
Wow.
Vat priest.
Yeah. They it's literally, they're just like, all right, this sphere of Phyrexia, all oil, all the time. Literally, it's like drops that Karn accidentally brought back, and that is like what's threatening to destroy the multiverse. And they're like,
just like a couple drops of
here's an ocean. What's up? What's up?
I want to go sailing.
Yeah.
You know what's kind of messed up though is Karn, the Phyrexian oil that Karn kind of like accidentally carried around, like he didn't know it was there because it was put in his Heartstone that Urza gave him.
Yeah, so he doesn't even know it's there, and it's
and Urza just kind of set him up for failure like that because Urza's messed up like that.
Yeah, Urza's wildin', to be honest.
To be honest, Urza used the heart of one of his friends.
Hey, you don't get into that spoiler. That's a good one. That's a good one. He used the heart of his friend to spread love to the world.
Yeah, sounds about right. That's our Urza guy.
Yeah, well, definitely. I really want to go deep into Urza because, like, he's a pretty big problem in the story. He is not one of the heroes, I'll tell you that. That's kind of what I like about a lot of the old lore. All of the heroes weren't really the heroes. They were bad people who were just not as bad as the badder people.
I like how they introduce a ton of people who don't have any cards about them.
Yeah. I really wish that they, like, especially with some of those 9 Titans, it would be cool if they had a little bit more on them.
I want to see Lord Windgrace in power suit armor.
Yeah, in the mechs. Yeah, let's wrap up with what were the mechs of the 9 Titans when he was first fighting. Let me pull that up here. 9 Titans Urza.
9 Titans.
Yeah, so the Titan engines, in order to help them survive the lethal conditions of the counterstrike on Phyrexia, Urza constructed 9 mechanized suits of powered armor called Titan engines. The Titan engines were huge constructs with a vast arsenal of weaponry. They contained Ares of Falcon engines, artifacts created to detect glistening oil and destroy Phyrexians, rocket launchers loaded on the wrists, mana cannons, as well as colossal hands and feet that could crush hundreds of Phyrexians at a time. The design of the Titan engine's cockpit window structure strongly resembles the Thran symbol. Urza was heavily influenced by the design of the ancient race of artificers, and so the design of the Titans reflected the symbol.
Yeah. I wonder if hundreds was an average estimate, like that they measured, or if that's just like a guess.
Yeah, it seems like a lot.
I mean, it does put their size into like perspective.
Yeah,
I mean, things had
mana cannons, dude.
Yeah, mana
like
cannons.
Godzilla sized.
There's lasers coming out the front.
Look up the laser beams.
Yeah, Urza was kind of a lunatic, and all of these people also kind of lunatics. I don't think there's anything. I don't know if Christina of the Woods has a card about her.
Does not sound familiar. At least off the top of my head.
Yeah,
the Commodore guy.
I don't think there's. Yeah, Guff doesn't have one about him. I don't think Bo Levar has one. Maybe.
Did the power suits even have a card?
No, which they should. They should be all 10 mana just to win the game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bo Lever's in a few cards like that are pretty cool art wise and like story wise, but he does not have a card about himself yet. And like Freyalise, obviously everyone knows what Freyalise as a planeswalker does, and the same with Windgrace. But it would be really cool to see them as like creatures represented and not just like planeswalkers.
Mm-hmm.
Like what they did with Urza and Yawgmoth.
Yeah. What a weird segment of planeswalkers to put in. Windgrace and Freyalise, and then to just like never address the other ones.
Right?
I mean, they've been getting there.
Well, and then why even put Urza and Yawgmoth as creatures and not planeswalkers themselves? Or were they not technically planeswalkers?
They were the original planeswalkers, but the original planeswalkers were just like godly, and that's why they wanted to have them as like Urza. Like I said, he was making all these machines to go like fight the Phyrexians. Urza and Yawgmoth are like kind of pretty similar people, just different in their approach to how they did it. They're both bad genocidal maniacs, for lack of a better word.
Well, good thing they didn't team up.
But that's why Urza on the card is so overpowered. It's like he's manipulating the machines for mana. He has the ability to grab spells that are beyond the reach of normal people. He's bringing big, enormous constructs, because like the constructs are essentially his mech titans.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Okay.
Right? Like Urza is deliberately a strong card. So I really hope that they don't do Mishra dirty, and I really hope it would be really cool if they did like the lunatic Phyrexian madness Mishra.
I do think they're going to make Yawgmoth into a god for MH2 and Urza into a planeswalker.
That would be cool. Because
I figured that's what to do.
Is it supposed to go for like onwards?
Because there wasn't really a general story with Modern Horizons. It was just highlighting like lore stuff. So they might just continue on with that, which I guess would make sense, and kind of just make Urza a planeswalker before he's like Academy Master on set planeswalker.
Well, that's where we got Sisay as well, right? The new Sisay?
Yeah.
And what a great card that is. Like, old Captain Sisay is at least a playable card, especially for us Commander players, but the new one really brought something cool to it. It has that, you want to delve into kind of the lore and get legendary cards with it, right? It's a very, very fun card to play. So I would love to see them bring some of these other ones. Like I said, Gerard's not really playable. Like, Gerard Capuchin is a card, am I correct?
Yes, he was Weatherlight. Yeah, Gerard Weatherlight Captain, Weatherlight Hero, something like that. But
actually, they did redo that one in the Savine deck, and I thought that was a really, really good card. The Weatherlight Hero, I've totally forgot about that. It's a first strike. When it dies, exile it and return all artifact and creatures that were put into your graveyard from the battlefield this turn. That was a pretty cool card. That one is playable. I'll give credit where credit's due.
That was what I thought. I didn't even know there was another Gerard card.
I thought there was an old Gerard, but I
couldn't.
couldn't.
Like, hold on. Let's see.
Yeah, and then we'll wrap after we talk. Man, Gerard's another thing too.
Yep, at the beginning of
what a bunk card.
You gain 1 life for each card in target opponent's hand. You can pay 3 and a white and tap target creature. Play this ability only if Gerard Capuchin is attacking, and he is a 3/4 for 5 mana.
I'm going to be honest, old legends were trash.
Yeah.
This is...
I mean, look at the old Nico Bolas card.
Nico Bolas.
Honestly, all of those old Elder Dragons, like the Echo cost that basically the Eternity Echo, pay this or bury them, like, just chill.
Just chill.
Just chill, doggy. Yeah, no, but that's pretty much the start of Phyrexia. Going back over it, die-fed. The TLDR is die-fed, opened up Yawgmoth. Rebek is a bad person for trusting Yawgmoth and then trying to help him. They locked him out, and then they just really, really should never have opened that door.
Nope.
No one's a good person here.
Yeah. No one there. Yeah, also Rebek just seems terrible.
Yep.
Well, yeah, because he did stuff to her husband, and then she's like, oh, I love you.
I love you, Yawg Daddy.
Yeah. And then, oh no, why are you doing that to our people?
Yeah. But anyways, yeah. So that's the start of it. Phyrexia in its like current version. By the way, I didn't really see there. Is Phyrexia the plane still there as well?
Yes. It's just dead.
That doesn't seem like good news.
Dead. Air quotes.
It's kind of like with Amonkhet. The entire plane was
devastated.
Dead, except for the one city that Nico Bolas made.
Yeah, okay. So it's a dead plane, but that ocean of Phyrexian or Phyrexian oil still there?
Maybe. I don't know.
I if it's just like all life gets destroyed, I would assume the glistening oil ocean is still chilling there because there's a card on Ixalan that has oil in the fountain.
Well, then that is possibly something that can become one of the new problems for the new Gatewatch quote unquote people is if you have this lunatic that is Ashiok looking into the Phyrexians and like because Ashiok loves the nightmares.
Yeah, dude.
It's not out of the realm of possibility that Ashiok makes Phyrexia its new nightmare dungeon.
Opening a giant portal at the bottom of the station and just...
Oh, excuse me.
Ooh, can you imagine if Ashiok becomes infected with this oil?
Yawgmoth 2.0.
Ooh. And just becomes obsessed with bringing Yawgmoth back?
Yeah, it's like kind of like Memnarch with Karn.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hey, well, yeah, because Phyrexia really was the plane of like nightmares with him like human experimenting, like his constant like campaign for like destroying other worlds, his ripping flesh off of people and turning them into these half machine cyborgs. Like what better place for nightmares than the literal nightmare dungeon? So I could see them doing a thing. Reintroducing Yawgmoth is a weird story thing with Urza as well. I think they wanted to bring people back into the lore. I don't think they're just like, let's make new cards for Commander, which could be. Modern Horizons 2, not for Modern. Weird.
Commander Horizons 2.
Yeah.
It was Commander Horizons. But yeah, I think there is a big chance of them going back to Phyrexia. And Planeswalkers, they're not the godly creatures where they're like creating things right now. But there is kind of a current obsession with transporting things from one plane to another. Like what was the sword from Kaldheim there, John?
The Realm Sword?
Yeah. And then
the Realm that Rashmi.
Yeah, Rashmi's planar bridge. There are ways to get through it, and obviously Vorinclex got from Phyrexia to Kaldheim. So
what's he doing there?
Yeah, I think that there is like,
sent back.
but that's what I mean. I think that there is like we might see like the Planeswalker era almost coming to an end where it's only them that can transport, and we could see some of like the total Phyrexian invasion, kind of like the Wrath overlay.
I could definitely see Kaladesh becoming...
Kaladesh is the perfect plane to go there. I didn't even think about that, but...
The perfect plane to complete.
Yeah, that would be...
And with Rashmi, they could start...
Honorary Praetor Rashmi?
Right-handed Jingataxis.
Woo!
Simic Praetor.
Yeah. Oh, the Gearhulks as like completed like half flesh, half... Ooh.
That would be nutty. Like horror Titans.
Hey, we put Geth's head on a Noxious Gearhulk. Why not?
Honestly, I might buy a secret layer if they did like special arts of like Phyrexianized horror arts.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, no, like I said, we'll end up wrapping up there, but the next time we'll go on to what happened on Mirrodin, because that's where like our current Phyrexians are. Like that's Mirrodin went through some stuff.
A lot of stuff going on.
Yeah. So next time we'll go into Mirrodin. Again, thank you guys so much for listening. I know this was a heavy episode. There was a lot going on. Like it's a pretty dark part of the story, but I think that it puts a lot of the old cards into context. You see the current threat that is there, and it kind of helps you understand their new world building thing. They're trying to do it playfully a little bit, but there is a real threat that is coming to these Planeswalkers, coming to that. Vorinclex on Kaldheim is a problem. If the Phyrexians can escape Mirrodin, that is a problem for the entirety of the multiverse, because Phyrexians are pretty good at winning.
Almost unstoppable.
They just keep coming. It's like those zombies from was it Daisy? I think that movie was with Brad Pitt, where they're going at the wall and they're just like piling over. That's what I picture with just like a fountain of glistening oil. Oh
man, I did want to the sex of people on Mirrodin. I totally forgot about it, but they all, because Karn created the plane, they all in their own way worship Karn as a god.
Yeah,
and they're all obsessed with him, and that's why they want to like corrupt him and like turn him into Phyrexian with them. Yeah, they want to make like Phyrexian god Karn.
That should be a card.
That would be a great card. There is a good chance of it happening because Karn is not leaving that plane. They should really find out how to seal the Phyrexians off again with like one of those shard things.
The real question is, what would happen if an Eldrazi ended up?
Oh.
Completed Emrakul.
Oh.
That would be... Because
the
Emrakul already
Phyrexia.
Well, Emrakul, the card itself, is like a piece of Emrakul, right? Because they exist in the Blind Eternities and just like put a portion of themselves out.
Yeah, it's basically they're like it's a hand under the water and it's just the fingertips reaching out.
Yeah, there's a bigger being on the other side.
So like, if the Glistening Oil got a hold of that and was able to kind of like travel through,
infect the Blind Eternities.
Ooh,
man, the Eldrazi are also pretty heavy metal bad guys.
So many just
Annihilator.
Yeah.
When she enters the plane, everything wants to become Emrakul, right? But if everything also wants to become metal because she's also Phyrexian,
metal Emrakul,
that'd be crazy. Then again, I don't think Emrakul could be infected just because of her effect on planeswalkers. She seems more powerful than
oil.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, like I said, I wanted to go into there. We'll maybe delve a little bit more into the 9 Titans as well on another episode, because they are pretty interesting characters of their own, and possibly some of what we'll see in Modern Horizons 2. Electric Boogaloo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just wait till we get into the time raveling of the multiverse.
Yeah. Oh, and the mending? Could you imagine?
Yeah.
Oh, the mending.
The mending's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool place. Thank you guys so much for listening. Brian, you can let everyone know where they can find us.
Hey, make sure to check us out on intothenight9.com, where you can find out all of our content all in one nifty place. Some people call it the hub. You can find articles written by other community members there, as well as all of our content to our YouTube, Instagram, and other socials. If you would like to support us, make sure to check out our Patreon page and merch store. As well, check out our other shows, Parallel Thoughts, hosted by Necrozach and Benson, and Brewing It Live with Lotus.
Brian had a brew or two today when we're talking lore.
Sure did.
Thank you guys so much for listening. Definitely let us know, what did you think about the Phyrexian story? Do you like the Phyrexians? Do you think they're a good bad guy? Are they a little overplayed?
You want to hear more about?
Yeah. Can the new planeswalkers, like, are Will and Kenrith able to go up against these Phyrexians just yet, or what's going on?
Yeah. Is Karn a bad father?
Yes.
Karn be like, I'm stepping out for smokes?
He has some major daddy issues, to be sure.
Thank you so much for listening, and have a great day.
Have a good one, guys.